Hey everybody, so today's question is, when does autism get easier? That's something I've asked myself many, many times, especially when things got hard. And I'd even find myself asking other people that question. But what I realized was that there wasn't really... Hey there guys, so today's question is, when does autism get easier? I have asked myself that a million times, especially when things are not going great with me and my son and his education. Hey there everybody. So today I'm going to answer the question, when does autism get easier? That's a question I've asked myself many, many times over the years, especially when things were getting more difficult. But I've also been asked that many times from other parents. And the reality is, it's a very unique and not so... Hey there everybody. Today I'm going to answer the question, when does autism get easier? I have been asked that question many times over the years, and I have actually asked that to myself many, many times, especially when things were a little bit harder for us. The thing is that question is very loaded, and it's definitely very unique to each family. But what I will say is that some things are definitely easier and some things are more hard as he grows and changes. In this video, I'm going to share with you the things that have gotten easier, and I'm going to share with you the things that have gotten a little bit more difficult. We're going to start with what has gotten harder so that we can end on a positive note. For my son, the number one thing that's more difficult for us is he has much more defiant behavior as he's gotten older. He's getting bigger physically and mentally, and he's understanding more, and he is definitely using that as a tool when he gets upset, when he gets angry, and when he wants his own way. For me personally, the trial and the error that has to happen in order to navigate his therapies and education and development has only gotten more difficult over the years. I really did believe by this point, I mean, my son is 8 years old, that we would have figured out sort of what worked for him, and we would be doing that, and we would be in the best case possible scenario. But that's just not the case. As he grows and learns and develops, we need to constantly be altering his interventions, his therapies, what's happening at school. And that, to me, it's gotten harder and it's a little bit more tiring and exhausting at this point. The constant fight for resources has not gotten any easier over the years. I am constantly trying to show various government organizations and schools and therapists that my son needs resources, he needs help. It's a constant fight. And if I don't fight that battle, he will just fall through the cracks. By no means has that gotten easier, and I hope wherever in the world you're living, it's a little bit better for you. But here in Canada, you have to fight on a regular basis to make sure that your child is getting what they need, even if it's just the bare minimum. Mom guilt, it's something all parents have. But I think as parents of kids with special needs, it's even more so. I'm constantly wondering, should I do more therapy? Should I invest more in speech? Should I get him into more physical programs? Is he getting enough at school? Is he getting enough education? It doesn't matter what I do. I constantly feel like I'm not doing enough because I always want him to move forward faster. I wish I could be better at that. I'm working on it, but I definitely feel guilty on a regular basis as to whether or not I'm doing enough for my son. The last thing I'll mention that has actually been a lot more difficult for me over the years is the developmental divide between my son and his friends. When he was 4 and 5 years old, the kids would just play together. Shane would play a little bit different, but nobody really noticed. Now at 8, his friends are definitely noticing that he's different and likes to play a little bit different, and they're less tolerant of that, which has kind of made a divide between him and some of his friends, especially friends that he has that don't have autism or special needs. When I witness this, it's incredibly hard, and my heart breaks. It's not the child's fault that doesn't want to play with him because he's so rigid in his play or because he doesn't understand, and it's not Shane's fault either, and it's just a really heartbreaking thing. Now for the things that have actually gotten a lot easier. Number one, I have educated myself in autism and how I can better help my son. In general, what I'll say is that I'm more comfortable with autism. I'm comfortable with telling people that my son is autistic, and I'm comfortable with what his abilities are and what he needs to work on. It's a mental comfort, it's a physical comfort, and it has changed our lives significantly. Something that has made our lives incredibly easier is my ability to let go of what I thought being a mom was going to be like, or what I thought my son should be like. I actually had to mourn that. I had to let go and mourn who I thought my son should be. And once I had done that, I could really embrace his autism, and that gave me a lot more energy to actually help him to reach his fullest potential as an autistic individual. Building a community around my son of people who understand and love and care about him has by far made our life a lot easier. I'm talking about a doctor who understands his needs, a school who understands the way he learns and his behavioral issues, friends who know he has autism but still want to play with him. The community of people that we have around us makes our life great and makes it easy to be a mother of a son who has special needs. Taking the time to understand how my son communicates has made our life a lot easier. And I don't just mean in verbal conversation, but I mean with regards to how I discipline him, how I educate him. My son has autism and he is verbal but not completely verbal. And at first I was using all these traditional ways to discipline him and to educate him. I'd buy the books at the store and say, well, this is grade 1 level, you should be able to do this. And it just wasn't working. So I had to take a lot of time to study how he learned, what was the best way to communicate with him. And since I've done that, it's like huge, miles and miles and miles of difference in our household. Like I said at the beginning of this video, some things are a lot easier, but yes, some things are also more difficult now. Autism is a continual journey that's almost like a roller coaster. You have some good days and you're going to have some bad. What I can say to you is make sure to celebrate the good days and the things that do get easier, and they're going to help you get through the things that get harder. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Looking forward to posting the next one.